Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I am Nandatul Faradila. Will present the final project for Sociolinguistic and ELT final project. Here, the research that I will present in this presentation is written by Saadah L. and Yulianti R. in the 2018. The title is Turn-Taking Used in Conversation Class, a Classroom Discourse Analysis. Okay, this video is made to fulfill the final project for this subject matter. Okay, let's get started. Here are the contents that I will present today. There are 5. The first is about this research. Second, what is turn-taking? The third, turn-taking in the classroom. And then the fourth, IRF and IRE. And the last is the result of this study. So let's get know these subtopics one by one. Okay. First, about this research. So the purpose of this research is this research aimed to analyze the turn-taking used by the teacher and students in the conversation class and provide the authentic evidence of the classroom discourse. Okay, as we know, turn-taking here is included into the discourse, and we also know that discourse is really important for the English teacher to be understood. Because why? Because the knowledge of discourse will give the teacher will be so useful. I mean, the knowledge of discourse will help the teacher to employ the materials to achieve the learning goals effectively in the classroom. Based on my understanding, I also know that have the knowledge of the discourse will help the teacher in creating a second language learning environment that more accurately reflect how language is used, and then it will help the teacher to make the students engagement with the target language they learn. In this case is English, right? And then the knowledge of the discourse will also help the teacher to build a good relationship with the students. And of course, if in the classroom there is good relationship between the teacher and also the students, so the teaching and learning process will be meaningful, will be interesting, and the student will have more motivation to learn more, to learn. And next, the method used in this research. The scripts of English teachers taken as the data with the video recording, and then make the scripts of the conversation between the teacher and also the students. This become the data for this research. And then the analysis is adapted from Sinclair and Coulthard and also M.Hum frameworks of IRF and also IRE in turn-taking patterns. This both IRF and also IRE will be discussed in the next sections of these presentations. And qualitative design is employed in this research. Because why? Because this research is, and the data and also the result will be in words, presented in words than in number. That's why the qualitative design is implemented in this research. Okay, next is what is turn-taking. Okay, we have to understand what is turn-taking. According to Safnil, 2010, turn-taking is where the opportunities to participate in the conversation are distributed. In the conversation, we exchange our ideas. Uh, but but the frequency between one speaker to another speaker in taking the conversation sometimes equal, sometimes not equal. People with the confidence maybe with confidence and know and understand about the topic will talk more than those who don't understand about the topic and have the lack of confidence. We can say that turn taking is the opportunities for other speaker to speak in the conversation. This is very important. How if in the conversation is only one way conversation? I mean, only there in a conversation there are for example 3%, but only 1% that maintain to speak a lot and not allow the other speakers to speak also. It will result in a monotonous conversation, and the other, of course, in the conversation, because they only listen and listen without also show off their ideas about the topic. That's why turn taking is really important. Next, the purposes of studying how turn taking are the first is to pass the conversational floor in orderly way, and then the second is to manipulate this normative system for power and empathy. This is according to Helen and Paltridge 2011. Okay, both of these are the purposes of studying how turn taking normally works in conversations. This is really important to be taken into account. Okay. Next is the nature of turn taking pattern. There are three. The structure. There are three of the structure of turn taking pattern in the natural conversation. The first is the opening. So it connects to the previous turn. And then the second is the actual content, the message that we are focused and expressing. And the last is the ending signals. But in the natural conversation, like we talk to our friends, we talk to our parents, sometimes there's no the ending signals. And also, the pattern for the natural conversation and what happened in the classroom is different. Okay, let's find out what the difference between the pattern in the natural conversation and also the pattern in the classroom context. Okay, let's jump into the subtopics of turn taking in the classroom. Yeah. Crumbs 1986 pointed out that to achieve students' communicative competence, students must be given opportunities to interact with both the teacher and fellow students through turn taking, to receive feedback, to ask for clarification, and to initiate communication. We already understand that the goal of learning language nowadays is not about the grammatical competence anymore, but the learning, the language learning goals nowadays is the communicative competence, how to communicate, how to use the language to communicate well, to exchange the meaning, to exchange the message to another people. That's the That's the point. That's the goal that we have to achieve as the language learner in the classroom. That's why students must be given more opportunities to speak in the classroom, to practice their target language as much as possible in the classroom. And the teacher sometimes and often initiate these situations. But the lack that we found in the EFL classroom is such as the students still found feeling shy or feeling anxious to speak, or sometimes they are reluctant to speak. This is maybe because some reasons behind, for like maybe they have a little knowledge about the topic that we are discussing, or maybe they don't have the confidence to show off, and then maybe they need some encouragement from the teacher to speak up. So we are, as the teacher, have to understand our students' level and the situation in the classroom. Okay, here, Van Leer, 1988, as cited in Alice 2012, page 98, identified the basic rule of classroom turn-taking. The first is, in classroom context, whenever centralized attention is required. First, one speaker speaks at any one time. Okay. And the second, many can speak at once if they say roughly the same thing, or at least if the simultaneously talk remains intelligible. Here, one speaker speaks at any one time. For example, the teacher. The teacher speaks, and then later on the student will respond to the teacher. And mostly in the classroom, the teacher asks the students close-ended questions, like only require the answer for yes or no. That's why many students will answer in series together to answer the teacher's questions. If not, if there's no A and B, repair work will be undertaken. Of course, in the conversation class, in the classroom, what happens if there's no person who speaks and responds? So it will be the problem. That's why the repair work will be undertaken if the situation in A and B is not exist. And the third is the characteristic of turn-taking in the classroom talk. Okay, this is based on Markey 2000s. There are 5 the characteristic of turn-taking in the classroom talks. Often found. The first is the pre-allocation of different kinds of turns to teacher and learners. B, the frequent productions by learners of turns in stories, like I've discussed before. When teacher asks the students about some questions, mostly in close-ended questions, like, for example, students, do you understand so far about this material? So the student only have to answer the teacher question by saying, yes, ma'am, yes. Yes, we understand. No, ma'am, no, we don't understand. Just like that, they will answer the teacher questions in series together. Next, the frequent production of long terms by the teacher and short terms by the students. This is like what I've just explained before. The long terms is led by the teacher, and the short terms is by the student, because the question is in close-ended questions. Next, D, the requirement that learners produce elaborate sentence length terms in order to display knowledge. the students, when they produce long sentence turns in the classroom, merely because they have to show or present their work to the whole class, to the work after they are ready with their work, they have to present it in front of the classroom. We can see that the situation is not natural as how the real language is used in the real conversation, because sometimes our students will use the paper to read the sentence in front of the classroom, and maybe they are trying to remembering the sentences, but this is a good way too. Next, E, a E, a predetermined topic. The topic for the conversation mostly chosen by the teacher, brought in the classroom to be discussed. Okay, these 5 characteristics is what we often found in the classroom, in the conversations classroom, yeah. Next, the 4th is the structure of turn taking. IRF and IRE are frequently found in the classroom conversation. These 2 will be discussed after this slide. And then the power of identity. Every single person have their power and identity. The students, they have their identity as the students. Sorry. As the teacher, they have, the teacher has the identity as the teacher. If the distance between the power and identity between the teacher and the students, it will also affect to the students' participation in the classroom. Next, okay, let's discuss the IRF and IRE in the turn taking. The first is IRF. Okay, sorry. Okay, the fourth is IRF. This consists of 3 types of moves. The first is initiation, response, and feedback. This is proposed by Sinclair and Coulthard in Alice 2012. Next is IRE. The 3 types of move in the turn taking is initiation, response, and evaluation. These 2 structure is almost similar, but in the end of the structure is different. The first is using feedback and the second is using evaluation. Okay, let's see the examples of IRF first. Here is the example of conversations using IRF. Teacher said, "What's the capital of French?" Student answer, "Paris." Correct. Okay. So the questions, what's the capital of France? Teacher initiate to ask the questions to the students, and students will answer in source like, okay, Paris. And then the teacher give them feedback by say correct. And let's see the example of IRE. For example, teacher said, "What time is it?" 1:30. Student response, "Oh, very good, Jackson." what time is it? This is the initiation from the teacher. And the student answer 1:30 as the response. And then teacher giving the evaluation by saying, very good, Jackson. Okay. The evaluation can be vary. For example, we can say, oh, good job. Thank you. Oh, good job. So great. So great. Okay, something like that. We can compliment our students with their response so they will understand whether their answer is being accepted or not. Next, the results of this study. The result of this study. The first is initiation, response, and feedback is mostly used rather than initiations, response, and evaluations. Okay. The initiator of conversation is still led by the teachers by asking questions and repeat it several times. And next, the teacher does not provide opportunity for students to initiate the turns. This is deal with the power and identity that the teacher built in the classroom. Okay, here are the results of this study. That ERF is mostly used rather than IRE. After seeing the result, after looking at the result of this research, as the teacher, what need to be considered? The first is teachers should realize and understand the students' feeling and level in the conversation class. Like we have found in this study that teacher let the turn taking the conversation by asking the questions and repeat it several times. But hopefully the question is not merely just the close-ended questions. Teacher also need to use open-ended questions and give the question that's suitable with the student's level. Because why? Because when we as the teacher give the students the hardest level of questions, it will make the student feel anxiety. How to answer the question? It will make like this. When we point the students with the questions, it means we force the students to take the turn to speak. But if our question is not suitable with the student's level, it will make the students feel anxiety, feel afraid of responding our questions. That's why the level should be balanced. For example, at the beginning of the lesson, we can ask the simple question to our students, like with the close-ended question first. For example, like, do you like, for example, it is about fruit. Do you like banana? The student will answer, yes, we like it, or no, we don't, something like that. And then we increase the level of the difficulties in our question by asking like this. Why don't you like banana? Maybe they will answer like, I don't like it. It is a little bit sour. Maybe they will answer like that. Oh, sour. Okay. Okay, everyone. Let's let's think about another fruit, other fruits that have the sour taste. Okay, let's mention it one by one. The sour fruits, lemon, and what else? Okay, John, can you mention another one? Lime, ma'am. Okay, lime, lemon, lime, and what else? Uh, Orange. Okay, orange, lemon, lime, orange, and the others? The others, do you have any ideas about the sour fruits in the world that you have ever seen? Something like that. So we build a good situations of conversation for our students to engage themselves in speaking English. Begin with the easier one and then increase the level and increase more, because when they feel in the beginning of the lesson the question is too hard for them, it will decrease their motivation to learn English. And then um, the teacher also have to provide the opportunity for the students to initiate the turns. This is really should be taken into account. We are as a teacher don't have to speak all the time without giving the opportunity for our students. Maybe our students want to clarify about what the topic they haven't understand yet, or maybe they want to ask about the topic related with what is discussing at that time. So we have to exchange. We have to give them opportunity as much as possible, because this English classroom is what we call the only place, the only environment for them, for our students to practice their English. Because one lack of the EFL learning in Indonesia, that is in the outside of the classroom, we can't find so rarely for us to find the native speaker to talk to. Only in the classroom where we practice our English a lot. That's why we are as the teacher not have to talk much, but the students have to. The students have to engage in many times. They have to take the turns with their confidence to speak in the classroom. Okay, next, the power distance between teacher and students sometimes give the negative effects to the student participation. This according to Kasuya 1998. When the power of the teacher and also the students is far, the teacher have the strong identity in the classroom. Maybe it will be a cause why the students feeling anxiety to speak or to take their turns in the classroom. Sometimes we are as the English teacher have to see our students in their perspective. Our roles is like their friends in the classroom. In the conversation class, like we provide the situations that we are their friends and always be ready to assist their learning, their learning language. When they ask question, they will not feel hesitate to ask and to tell their or I mean to express themselves. We have to provide the relaxed relaxed situation, relaxed atmosphere for our students to learn. Okay, this will motivate them. Okay, motivating the students. This like an encouragement and reinforcement for the students to learn more. It's really important too. And then next, what need to be considered is the teacher's role in initiating turns should be equal with that in giving student opportunity to initiate the turn also. So don't, as a teacher, don't speak too much. Give the opportunity as possible, as much as possible to the students. From my understanding, this is the additional information for related to this topic. We can why the turn taking is really important to be studied. That's because when the teacher have the knowledge of how to provide the good turn taking in the classroom, it will make the conversation have the meaningful of exchange, and it will make the interaction become fruitful. Yeah. And as the teacher, don't often to ask with the close-ended question. Close-ended question, use it in the beginning of the lesson, and then use the open-ended questions with the simpler one, with the more simple one. And we have to offer the questions that provoke more answer from the students, not just one answer in stories. For example, like this. Okay, do you know, for example, we begin with the close-ended questions. Students, do you know nasi goreng? Yes, it'd be like that. Nasi goreng is really famous in the world right now. Do you know why? Okay, do you know why? Can you mention why people in the world like nasi goreng also like us? First, because what? First because it is yummy. Okay, first because it is yummy. Next, okay, try to ask the questions with not only one answer, but can be answered with many variants of answers from the students. It will make the classroom will be active. And then I also found that there are 7 turn-taking patterns that can be used by the teacher, and and there are 7. The first is greeting, and then the second is check or clarification. The third is question and answer. Number 4 is request and acceptance. The 5 is instructions and compliance. 6 is offer and acceptance. The 7 is leave taking. But from these 7 strategies that could be used by the teacher, questions and answer is the favorite one, like we have discussed in this research. Okay, and here's the reference for this research. Okay, thank you so much. I think this all what I that. Okay, this is the reference for this research. Okay, I think this all my presentation for today. Thank you so much. I hope we are as the teacher or the teacher candidate can take into account about how the turn taking will be useful in the conversation class. Not us as the teacher to be the center, but the student should be the center to practice their English as well as much as possible. The opportunity should be given to our students as much as possible for them to engage themselves in learning the target language of English. I think this is all. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.